Hi, everybody, and welcome to an episode of 365 Unplugged. I am Loryan Strant, joined as always by...
I'm Alistair. I'm still Alistair Pugin. I identify as Alistair Pugin. I'm in sunny South Africa, and I'm in a physical office, not stuck at home. Yeah.
I'm in a physical office. It's my work from home office.
Yeah,
but how timely you say that? Because work from home is all the rage right now. And why is it? Because of this thing called coronavirus. Now that working from home is cool.
It's all of a sudden cool, right?
It's all of a sudden cool. Now all of a sudden people give a crap. But that's the topic I want to talk about, to be honest.
Are we just going to run straight into the topic? So we're not even going to say, hello, how are you? Thank our viewers for being out there. This is a show about all things. We're supposed to be YouTubers. But not there yet. So welcome to 365 Unplugged. I'm your host, Alistair Pugin, and this is my co-host, Loryan Strant. And in this episode we will be talking about, and this show is about, I don't know. Was I doing it?
I don't know, man. It's been like a month and a half since we've recorded, so we're rusty.
So you want to talk about viruses? Is that's got nothing to do with advanced threat protection?
McAfee antivirus trend micro. No, I want to talk about coronavirus.
You know that Avast has been recording stuff. Avast, the semantic.
Oh, I remember them. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember that.
But you want to talk about working from home, and
I work from home is a passion of mine, and I want to talk about how it's now cool, and all the kids talking about it. Now that we have coronavirus, it's got nothing to do with the beer.
I don't want to talk about it because the MVP Summit's been cancelled. I'm upset that I don't get to see you in person, because I would have seen you in person in 2 days from now.
Yes, I am recording. That's funny. Oh, look, no, hang on. Come into the corner, because over Al's left corner, we have another MVP. There's Warren. Get Warren to wave.
Come here, quickly. Is this the most MVPs it's ever been? Stay there. 4 MVPs on the same video. So hello.
Look, okay. 4 MVPs on a call.
4 MVPs that are not in Seattle this week.
Wait, we just had a small MVP summit. Are we now infected?
we did.
Anyway, no jokes about
Corona-infused MVP summit.
So what I want to talk about.
But I get to choose. No, but this is not how it works, Loryan. For our viewers out there, we rock, paper, scissors, 2 topics, and whoever wins the rock, paper, scissors gets to talk about the thing. Oh my God. I don't have. Do I?
Wait, my wife just handed this to me because she was physically in my presence, and now I need to be clean of her. This can go so many different ways. So what do you want to talk about again?
I want to talk about UI flows is not RPA in Power Automate.
That sounds super exciting.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're in the RPA space, Microsoft has got a bunch of features that's being launched. They put out a roadmap for Power Automate and where the Power Platform, well, Power Automate specifically around UI flows and those things. And my company is a gold partner for UiPath. It's an RPA tool, and everyone's jumping up and down. And I was like, "But it's not there yet." So Microsoft should not lead with UI flows and all of that is RPA, because it's not RPA, and that's what I want to talk about.
Okay,
you know me, the grunt person. So as for our existing viewers know, we settled this battle over a round of rock, paper, scissors.
That's right, as it is the most effective system. And I guess for our viewers who may be watching for the first time, what you're about to see is not broken. We are just as bad at doing this in person as we are about to be seen doing this on Teams.
Okay.
Let's give it a go.
I need to wash my hands.
Yeah, mine are clean.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Rock, paper,
What?
I win. Paper.
I don't understand this. The Rock is the strongest man in the world, and you saying that if someone hit him with a ream of paper, he'd die.
No, I didn't say hit him with a ream of paper. It could be a paper cut.
Like, literally, that's the great. Yeah, he's, yeah. Like, so what do you win now? What are we talking about?
We're talking about coronavirus. Well, look, we're talking about working from home and the sudden excitement and buzz that everybody wants to work from home all of a sudden. Now, obviously, we've seen, for example, Microsoft has effectively not completely shut down its Redmond campus, but basically said, unless you need to be here, don't be here. What's really interesting, though, is there's people sharing photos on Twitter about, Microsoft people in Redmond and Seattle area who are now in cafes, which is defeating the purpose of why they should be working from home. Now, we're not in a dystopian future where we need to be working from home. But what's really fascinating is now all of a sudden that we have a crisis. Crisis, yes, no. Crisis to some, but for many, it's kind of still business as usual. But now what we have is all of a sudden people say, I want to work from home solution. I want to work from home solution. Teams is my work from home solution. And so what we're getting mixed up with is this, what we're saying is this, how do we respond to a crisis? Here's all these great apps we can use. My challenge with this is working from home doesn't just appear overnight. You don't just deploy Teams and then it's done. There's cultural aspects, there's teamwork, there's workflow, there's ergonomic and technology aspects, because I recall a friend of mine works at a Big Four bank, and he has 7 people in his team and they have 6 desks. And because they're supposed to rotate through and work from home 1 day a week. And I asked him, what do they give you to work from home? And he said, a laptop and a headset. I went, no, to work from home, that's to work, full stop. What do they give you to work from home? A laptop and a headset. I'm sorry, no, if you're expected to work from home, giving you a laptop and a headset and Teams is not an answer, because you could have, certified headset, you've got to have a chair, you've got to have, proper table, all this kind of stuff. But I'm kind of hijacking the conversation here going on my work from home warriors rant. The thing is Teams the fix to working from home? Does Teams, avoid coronavirus? Can we just go, I've deployed Teams, bang, we're safe? What do we need to do?
So my question to you, you've got a series on working from home, and you've interviewed quite a few people that work in the Microsoft space, and you've discussed this ad nauseum, right? So how do you move from I wouldn't call it an inclusive culture, but you physically get in your car every day, or you take a train, or you take a bus, public transport, and you drive to a location, and you function as working in a group, because you can see people, you want to ask them something, you get up, you go to their desk, and you work like that. And now with this pandemic called Corona, dumbest name ever, how do you, like with Microsoft, literally shut down campus and say, everyone's working from home? Now, yes, Microsoft has got a culture of working from home. Almost every Microsoft person I know and that I have known over the last 10 years has worked from home. They've had this policy instituted long before Corona and long before Teams. But what is the impact on your culture when you are working from home versus you are used to physically going to an office? And does that drop productivity? So forget Teams, right? All of a sudden, you've got an organization that functions as working together collaboratively in a building, now having to work in a silent environment at home. So does that, if it's dropping productivity, because I wake up, I don't have to shower, shit and shave, I can literally work in my PJs. Because you can, right? Working from home allows for that. You don't have to shower for a week. And some people get excited about that. But how can teams sort of bridge the divide between loss of productivity and keeping the culture going inside of an organization in the face of a pandemic like Corona? That's my question to you.
Well, and I think that this is the thing, that Teams can do so much and it does a great job, but there's all these other things beyond that. So the amount of organizations that I speak to that have Teams deployed across to everyone, and we're done, we've deployed teamwork, fantastic, yet still have file shares. How do I access that from home? Or they have Teams deployed, but they don't actually have headsets. So people are using earbuds and having really poor quality because it's a non-certified device. or they've got people who work in regional areas who rely on coming into the office because they have poor bandwidth out there. So now these people are stuck out there with poor internet connectivity. Or some people have don't actually have the physical space to work from home because maybe they've got a baby. I remember a number of years ago when I was one of the years when I was running my company Paradigm, I was always a big work from home proponent. But at one point I went, I can't work from home anymore because we had a baby. She was crying a lot, as babies do. And the way that our house was set up at the time that we were living in, there was no way I could not be close to the central area of the house and hear everything that was going on all day, every day. So I actually had to go get an office space. So the reason why these things have to be figured out is because just deploying Teams does not solve the answer. There's all these components. We talk about Teams in general. But the other part of it as well is, you're talking about, tracksuit pants, right? Now, if you think about, I guess, a routine that somebody has where they get up, they have their breakfast, they get to the office, they've got dressed on the way, they've got a routine. All of a sudden now there's no routine. There's nothing to say that you need to do anything before 8:29 a.m. when you roll out of bed. Yeah. So now you're sitting in your own kind of sweaty clothes, dirty clothes, whatever it might be, because there's no impetus to shower. So, people, I think, as much as we can give them the technology, we can move their files, we can, give them headsets, all these things. What they don't have is you can't just get this culture overnight where all of a sudden now we can work remotely as a team, because what we're used to is, hey, let's just go into a meeting room over there. Let's go have a side conversation. I think that while it's important for organizations to address the issue and, encourage work from home, they need to look at a lot more than just Teams. Because you know what? If you go, cool, we've deployed Teams, we can work from home, congratulations. Sorry, it's going to fail. It's going to absolutely fail because you don't have the culture behind it. The people don't have the mentality, the process of, I need to go work from home. Conversely, though, managers, seriously, if people work from home, it's not a bad thing, because you know what it means if I do my dishes or the laundry during the day, I don't have to do them at night. And also, do you know how long laundry takes to do during the day? 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, depending how many loads you've got. How much time is that during the day? That's like a cigarette break. That's a coffee break. It's less than a coffee break. Think about it. If you're in an office building, you go downstairs to go get your coffee. So you had to rustle up your buddies to go get coffee. Yeah. You go downstairs, get your coffee, wait in line, get back upstairs. Yeah, easily 20 minutes. I've done laundry in that time.
There's a human side, right, to all of this. Eric Catala posted about what are millennials. Well, she didn't call them millennials before I get into shit. But she said there's a lot of office workers that do not know how to cook. They don't have utensils in the apartment.
That's true.
They literally go to campus, they have breakfast there, they order a takeaway for lunch, and then they take food home and they eat that and they throw it into their bins. And that's how they live. And all of a sudden, now that they no longer have to go there, people are having to buy all these utensils because they don't own it, because they've never had to rely on having to cook for themselves. So outside of the human impact, what do you see teams doing really well in this regard? So top 5 tips for working from home with teams. I mean, that would be my question to you, because you're the definitive authority on working from home.
Authority. Turn your camera on. Turn your fucking camera on.
Yes.
I wish that background feature was around so that people could use that background that I use. Turn your goddamn camera on. Because you know what? If you're not experiencing the face-to-face, then have the face-to-face. And you know what? Educate people. Because right now, when I'm looking at you, I'm actually looking at a webcam. You're right below it. So it takes a little bit of education. But to you, I'm looking at you. And that's an important thing that people need to realize, is how to actually interact with the camera. What's another tip? Keep your routine. Get up. Go to gym, do exercise, walk the dog, whatever, have a shower, get into your office clothes. Okay, maybe not suit and tie.
No, I dress, I shower. If I'm working from home, I still shower. I put clothes on, and I only feel comfortable working in clothes. Well, not that I'm
same
sitting
here.
around naked, but I put clothes on, like as if I was going to work. I even put shoes on. Well, maybe not the shoes on, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't put the shoes on.
Yeah.
But
So
I'll put the jeans on. I'll put the belt on.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the luxury of wearing a polo top or a t-shirt. I would also say invest in the right setup. As another thing you're going to do is, when I say setup, now look, yeah, I work from home a lot, so I have lots of tech and gear and those kind of things. But get an external monitor. You must get an external monitor. It doesn't even have to be expensive. You can buy them cheap for like $100, $150. Or your employer should pay for an external monitor. Because I saw a picture of somebody showed, hey, here's my work from home setup. And it was a table sitting underneath a window with a beautiful view of the street and the grass. It's very Instagram worthy. But what I saw is neck problem because you had no external monitor. You're going to be looking down the whole time. Hunched over on your laptop. There was no mouse. There's no keyboard. So get the accessories.
What is Teams doing in this? Because you've talked about switch your camera on, make sure you have the right equipment, address well, keep it to a routine. So those are 4 things that are not team specific. So the next 4 things you need to make team specific, because you started saying that Teams save you from the coronavirus? And I haven't heard one thing. You can't come up with, you want the topic and then you're not promote what you're talking about. That's bullshit. So tell me about Teams. Tell me about what Teams is going to talk about.
Teams is going to do
modality, the modality of Teams and how you can be on mobile, on a tablet, on a notebook, on a Teams phone.
What Teams is going to do is just going to keep our conversations going. It means that I can, stop off here and go have a call from somewhere else in the house, from my Teams phone, or if I've got a headset, continue talking over there. What Teams is going to do for me is my conversations don't stop just because I've switched devices. And to be quite frank, you don't even know that I've switched devices. So I may actually have a conversation on my laptop here and then go walk the dog because I need to get out and stretch my legs. And I can pick up my phone and I can continue messaging, or I can have a call with you. So
and we talk a lot about the seamless usage of, and Microsoft has been trying to promote universal web app, or the progressive web app, the UWP stuff, and we start seeing this common user interface from Xbox to, I think it was Windows 8 to wherever we're going, Windows Mobile or Windows Phone, right? And I think Microsoft's actually got it right with Teams for the first time out of all the products it's because you can literally go from your desktop to a tablet to a mobile device. I actually prefer the feature sets that are on a mobile versus what's on my desktop, because Electron is just shite. But it doesn't matter where I am anywhere. That we can truly work from anywhere with a product like Teams. I think that's number one, important for me, because you have that functionality. Number two, I would encourage people to work with an office hours approach. So keep Teams on. We tried it. Remember, we did it in the Regarding 365 team, where we'd literally come in and out at various times. And whoever was on the call, we'd have a conversation. Owen would be there, or Daryl, or yourself, or Dan.
Yeah, we had a virtual coffee room, virtual breakout room. So it was just a Teams meeting space that was running all day.
And still keep to that, like you said earlier on, keep to that routine. So if you've got a group of people that you vape with, and I look at our offices, we vape in a group, right? Safety in numbers. I would do the same thing. I would have a vape group inside of Teams that I could go and dial in and see them sitting there vaping and have the same sort of conversations.
It's not a bad idea. Like Daryl did a thing where he had a virtual team lunch with his colleagues, where he went to a cafe and stuck the phone. Yeah. I think people should do that. Don't be afraid to be on, to be having a camera there. Because I'm sorry, we live in a world where people walk around with earbuds all the time. We live in this world now. It's just norm. So go have these virtual lunches with your colleagues. Go out. Don't be a dick about it and talk super loud that you're pissing off the other patrons in the restaurant. But
it's not a zombie apocalypse either, right? Where you have to be stuck in your basement for the next 20 years. So,
but here's something else I would do. Another thing I would do: focus time. Now, this is not so much. This is Teams, but this is also my analytics. use focus time in My Analytics to block out times where nobody will disturb you. Because what you'll be doing is, now that you're on Teams, because now you're not in an office, there's a lot more chat going on. There's a lot more conversations. So if you set focus time in My Analytics and it blocks out an hour, half an hour, 2 hours in your calendar, your Teams will be set to do not disturb. That it will say focusing. Your Windows 10 will go to focus assist mode. So this is an amazing feature to give you that concentration, so you're not a slave to Teams notifications like you may have once been a slave to your inbox.
Yeah.
Crucial.
Well, it is interesting, because when you step away, as much as we're saying use the product to promote productivity remotely, but when you actually step away from the product, so working at the office, right, you can literally get up and I can go smoke and have a vape inside, right? Whereas now we're saying, well, for starters, all of a sudden you're working from home, so that means you need to be permanently online for 8 hours so that your manager can see that you are there. Send you a message, how soon are you going to reply, otherwise you're not at your desk. Right? So how do we get to that, finding that sort of, and the focus time is a perfect example of how to find that even kill between physically sitting in front of a screen for 8 hours because you're working from home, and actually getting up and focusing on not worrying about the chat notifications, because you're going to be inundated now with chat notifications, not conversations. So to wrap up, what are we saying? You can use Teams to foster innovation and growth through remote productivity tools?
Yes, you can use Teams to foster innovation and growth in productivity. I'm sorry, I didn't have a pre-canned line for this. Yes, you absolutely can. However, it must be coupled with the human aspect. The technology is a wonderful thing, and it will give you most of what you want from a remote working scenario, but you must support it with other aspects. You must support it with accessories in terms of hardware. You must support it with managers and process and routine and a whole bunch of things. It's not just the product on its own that will go, cool, remote working done.
All right, so to wrap up, we believe that Teams can solve the pandemic that is working from home because of pandemics like Corona. And you should, in earnest, go out there, get all the Teams, test it out, take it for a test drive, make sure that it works, and also choose your modality that works best for you. Sitting on a beach somewhere with an iPad, or traveling in a bus to go buy toilet rolls because you're running out of toilet rolls and hand sanitizer, use your phone. And if you're sitting at home on your bed or on your couch, use your laptop, right? And they all work. So I'm very excited.
You know what? The other day, I literally drove the car to the beach, sat in the car while on a Teams call on my mobile phone that was 2 hours long, and sat there on my laptop doing stuff because I didn't need to be active in that meeting.
Did you dip your toes in the water, though?
No, I sat in the car and did work.
At a beach.
Beautiful view. Yeah.
You didn't take your socks off and put your feet in the water?
No, I stayed in the car.
What is wrong with you? Are we closing off? Are we burning down out? Are we running out of time?
We are.
So for those who enjoyed this episode of 365U, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Click on that bell, smash it, and do what you need to do with it so that you stay up to date with the musings of Loryan Strant and his sidekick, Alistair Pugin.
My sidekick, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, but like Zorro and Tonto, right? Have you not seen that? Is it Zorro and Tonto?
Yeah. You're not my sidekick. We're each other's sidekicks.
Well, you're my remote work husband.
Hashtag equality.
What? I saw that. It's like almost like a. There were hand movements, and I didn't know what it meant.
Oh, that's right. They couldn't. I didn't know. Was it fists? Are we angry women?
Oh.
I don't know. And that's a reference to my wife. Just everybody, before anybody jumps on this, not a reference to women. It's a reference to my wife.
We're going to get into a lot of shit for the Corona episode of 365.
And equality. Jesus, anybody else we can piss off here?
Okay. Anyhow, well, stop the recording. We are done. And if you want to find me, you can find me on the interwebs and the Twitterati at Alistair Pugin. And you are?
I'm at Loryan Strant, also on the Twitteratis and the socials and the other things.
And
we'll
catch you. Ciao, ciao.
We're so out of sync.